As I mentioned in the Super Nintendo version, you can start at Link's house or the Sanctuary, same goes for the GBA version. However, the GBA version always allows you to start from the last door you went through, entering a door or going out of a door from inside to outside, whereas the Super Nintendo only has the two options until you reach the old man in Death Mountain, where you will have that as your third option. You don't get that in the GBA version. Just mention that right now because, well, in the last episode, well, I ended, but now starting in the Tower of Hera. I would have probably had to make my way back if I was playing the SNES version. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back. Scatlink here, and we are off for more of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. And in the last episode, we did stuff in the graveyard and around the Sanctuary, clearing out the sewers finally, and heading up to Death Mountain, where we got drawn into a parallel world, as it were, and became a bunny rabbit, and we couldn't use nothing. But now we're in the Tower of Hera, and yeah, we're immediately starting off on a dungeon. Scatlink, it is I, Sahasrallah the Elder. I have some advice. In the dungeons, you can gaze into the magic mirror to return to the entrance at any time. Do not forget this. Well, it's a good thing that we get that tutorial quite early, because if we mess up something, we can cut out a tad bit of backtracking. And yeah, it's good to have it in this dungeon, since it's the earliest time that we would probably tell you within a dungeon that you would have the magic mirror. The next building that you'll probably go into when you have it. And not only that, but it's kind of ironic considering that this dungeon's actually very small. It's probably one of the smallest dungeons in the game. We could probably blast through this in about 10 minutes if I don't babble too much. As you can see, we got 4 rooms on the ground floor, and then it's 3 rooms on the second floor, and then it's just single rooms throughout the way into the top. It's like, what, 12 rooms? Can't get in there yet, we don't have a key, so we're going to have to backtrack just a tad. We can chuck our boomerang over these block switches, I guess we'll call them. But we can also shoot our arrows over them, but we do not have... we can even use bombs, actually. Okay, I'm having a little bit of trouble killing you. There we are. Now, obviously, GBA version, I can just grab it with my sword. I don't need to do it normally. But you could probably grab it with your boomerang in either version anyway, so I don't think that's that big of an issue. But hey, got the key, so now we can actually clear out the rest of the basement floor. And here's the thing, we've now got more tiles that we can't actually do anything with to avoid. All that we're going to have to pretty much do is just avoid these tiles. There's no way on camping out in the doorway, because if we try to go in the doorway, we're just going to go back upstairs and the tiles would reset. Or respawn, as it were, because, you know, they're breaking themselves. There are multiple ways you can deal with these, as we've seen before. You can just, you know, swing your sword and break them. You can't make them bounce off your shield. This isn't a 3D Zelda game, or a a top-down 3D Zelda game, I guess, because, you know, this is 2D, it's all sprite-based. Basically, I can't hold my shield out to block these. There's the School of Crossbones. You know, in randomizers, I've actually seen it been changed as well to, like, be like the Eagle dungeon, which is the first dungeon in the first Zelda game, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Makes it a little bit different, but it's still the same amount of tiles, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, what's with all this money being dropped? I'm not even using the boomerang! Which would always give me 1 rupee, but still, I need the lamp here. There we are. Alright, that's got a bit of magic. I better not pick those up until I'm done. Okay, bouncing away from me. Cheeky bastards. There's a chest there. So we definitely need to do that. There we go. You jumped into my slash, you melon. And we got the big key already! This is the master key of the dungeon. It can open many locks that small keys cannot, as per usual. That is very early. We're only 4 rooms into the dungeon, effectively so. And, yeah, after those 2 rooms, we're halfway in the dungeon. I told you this was a very short dungeon. It hasn't even been 5 minutes yet. I forgot to whack the switch. My brain. You know what? Screw it. Oh, what? I can't use it in the doorway? Really? That's a bit annoying. I forgot that was a thing. Then again, I don't normally do it when I'm standing in a doorway. But hey, it got us back to the dungeon entrance quicker, so that's not a problem. Want to make sure that the orange is down. And these are Hardhats. As you see when we are hitting these guys, we both bounce back due to the damage. They take about 3 hits, or use a pot, because it does 3 times the amount of damage. I think I've said double before, but I meant 3 times, because it just killed that guy in 1 hit. Now, we bumped into a new switch here, which I actually do want to activate. These star switches are basically trap switches. They change the traps within the dungeon. So, if we want to, well, make progress without hitting the switch, which we want to do, we want to step on the button, and it swapped it. Use the big key, and we're halfway through the dungeon already. Right, so... there we are! Killed them in one slash. It wasn't even a spin attack. What are you going to do about it? So we can pretty much avoid all these Hardhats. Don't need to take care of them unless they're coming up for us, but that's fair enough. If I hug the wall here, I can just easily walk along the seam, so I can avoid hitting any switches at all. The trap switches or the block switches. Kill you. There we are. Like 20 rupees! Jesus, I'm almost back to half a wallet. Knock you out. Another 5 rupees. I forget that you guys drop so much money. How did that not hit you? Excuse me? You ignore a pot. And then you hit me. It's rude, that is. Oh, heart. Need that. Okay, you. Oh, okay. Fine. I'll just use a pot. Oh, no! How did I not get hit there? I've lost that 5 rupees. Or maybe not. Haha. Level 5. I've missed the green, though. Oh, I cornered him. I could have killed him. Okay, you're giving me a lot of trouble. Jesus. I was about to say, you're starting to take a lot of my time. I just couldn't hit him. I had multiple pots. I haven't actually talked about these guys yet. We did see them in the first room when I was still talking about like how short the dungeon is, as well as how the mirror works. These are called Kodongos. Basically, baby Dodongos that just breathe fire and strafe. That's pretty much it. They don't actually die from bombs, although you could probably still use bombs, but you can whack them with your sword and they'll die anyway, so that's not a problem. We got the compass quite late in the dungeon. So late, in fact, one room later, we're at the boss. The only thing that the compass does in this game is point you where the boss is. This is a tower. It's one way. We're pretty much going to go to the top. We know where the boss is. The compass is wasted here, and that's probably why it's just sitting here in the middle of the room, enshrined effectively, with Sahasrah's telepathy tiles here. It's kind of odd. Scatlink, it is I, Sahasrah the Elder. I don't know why I'm telling you this again, I only just spoke to you. But anyway, an orb known as the Moon Pearl rests in this tower. He who holds the Moon Pearl is protected, and his form will not change in the dark world. You must find it and escape from the tower, but do not forget the Moon Pearl. So we went into the dark world last episode. Makes sense, considering that the colour scheme was muted. It must be evil magic that transforms us and the Moon Pearl protects us. Well, that didn't work. Must be able to find another way to get up there. So, maybe we can drop from above, maybe? We're in the semi-final room of the dungeon already. Now, hopefully I've done this right. I always forget if I've done this right. Right, okay, orange needs to be down. Do not pick up any of these 12 pots. Every single one of these pots holds a recovery heart. So, yeah, if you need the health, save it for the boss. And we've got a red Hardhat here, which takes a lot more abuse than the blue ones, like triple the abuse. And they also do double the damage, but they pretty much act the same as before. Let's see if I can... I just killed 2 with 1 pot, and they both did the splits. I'm hitting him with pots, and he's still not dead. You see how much abuse this guy takes? Rocks and pots do, like, 3 times the amount of damage as the sword that we have at the moment. And it took 3 pots, as well as a bunch of spin attacks, which do double the damage of our current weapon, to kill that guy. Ridiculous! These guys just take a spin attack and a normal whack from the sword. But yeah, we managed to kill those. Is it this hole? I mean, it's close to the top of the screen. Oh god! Oh wow, these pots are just taking us into the nether realm. Or to a fairy fountain. Helpful. Do I? Yeah, my bottles are full. I don't want to highlight one of them. But there is a fairy fountain here if you so need it. Just fall down that hole and you get walked back up to the top. It's not that big of an issue, really. So, if you do run out of hearts here, you can always go into this hole and there will always be 2 fairies there. And a fairy recovers 7 hearts, of course. So, keep that in mind if you are running low on health. Hit this. And thankfully this hole does stay here, but now this hole is here. If we drop from the top half... There we go! And we have the Moon Pearl. Yep, This is the only major puzzle with the dungeon, really, and it is a good puzzle to get to the chest, because you might see it, and then forget it, because the boss is literally in the next room, and then you're kicked out of the dungeon, and you're like, oh dear, I need to get this. And yeah, this could be your first instance of true backtracking that is required to beat the game. But if you do it, and do what you're told, and clear out the dungeon like on the first visit like you're supposed to, you wouldn't have to revisit. But that might be why it's a short dungeon as well. Not a problem. You found the Moon Pearl. This protects the hero from the transforming effects of the Golden Power. So the Golden Power must have been touched by an evil person, which transforms people who wander into the Sacred Realm to become monsters, which has dubbed it the Dark World. And that person may be Agahnim, and that might be why he's such a powerful wizard. Things are coming together. So, with four rupees in our wallet, this is the giant Moldworm. He's basically just a massive Moldworm where his weakness is the tail. If you get knocked off, he will be fully restored, but you can also fully restore yourself. So it's just a war of attrition. He's got a hard shell, unlike the baby ones. You just have to hit his weak spot, which is the spinny disc on his tail. Once we hit that enough times, he will die. The more times we hit it, he will spin faster. And if we do this at record-breaking time by nailing the spin attacks, well, I guess I jinxed myself by saying record-breaking time. That's fine though, we'll give it another go. But yeah, that's the thing. He's now back to maximum health. Now, the funny thing is, Link's Awakening got a HD remake on the Switch, and funnily enough, he's the first boss of the game. Spoilers, but pretty much exactly the same in how it's handled in Link to the Past, funnily enough. And you can actually fight your way back onto the platforms, because when you get launched to the edge of a platform, say these hearts don't respawn. I keep knocking him into the pit, so he keeps respawning. He's not actually dying. Must be making his way back up the stairs. But yeah, that's the main problem with this boss, and that's why people say this is one of the worst bosses. To be honest, I don't actually have much of a problem with him anymore. I mean, even when I was young, I said that it was bad. But yeah, notice that the sides of these platforms are actually kind of like crumbly, so there is a bit of an edge to them. They're not just a solid drop. So if we do get bounced to the side, and if we hold the direction, as you saw right there, I was moving slowly, but I was still able to get back onto the platform. I fought it back again. You can pretty much force yourself back onto the platform if you're teetering on the edge. So, okay, if I get hit and launched, there's nothing I can do, because, you know, when Link gets hit, his feet are off the ground. Like, the visuals of the sprite is quite accurate, actually. But yeah, that's kind of the issue. So if I fall any more times, I'll cut it out to when I pretty much just get back up there. I know it's like, what, 10 seconds, but that's 10 seconds wasted. So, I think we're going to get it this time. Because I'm pretty much telling you about the nuances of the boss. But if I hit him one more time on that first attempt, I would have done it. And that's kind of how it normally goes for me. I'm so close to beating a boss, I fail, or I have to use a fairy, and then one hit later, I would have won it. It's a curse on this game. But that's just me, really. That's not actually a game. It's a thing about the game itself. It's just probably a testament to how challenging this game is. Alright, one more time, and if I fail anymore, I'm just going to cut it. Sometimes it may be... Jesus, I had to fight a long while for that one. That's considered a long while of fighting to stay on the edge. That's happened twice in a row. Jesus. I shouldn't really go for spin attacks, but spin attacks do double damage, and it's probably easier to... Okay, what was that? I fought myself twice? Stu fail. That might be another reason why this dungeon is short, because you're pretty much going to be spending a third of your time in the dungeon just fighting the boss, because you have to keep doing it over and over. So that might be another reason why the dungeon's short, so it's not, you know, grating. Like, you've gone all the way through the dungeon, and then all of a sudden, you just can't do this, and you're, like, low on resources or something. Then again, the dungeon doesn't really require a lot of resources. Okay, he's moving slow, and I still can't catch up with him. Oh, wow! I got lucky there. Oh, God. He followed me, so I clinged off him twice. That's the prime spot to get him! There we go! I swear I didn't hit him as many times that time. And there we are. We have all 3 pendants. We can now go claim the Master Sword. You've won the Pendant of Power, With this, you've collected all 3 pendants. Go now to the Lost Woods to get the Master Sword. Bing! There we are, all done. And there's pretty much no easy way on getting down. Oh, by the way, I didn't actually mention that. If we step into that we created with our magic mirror, it's pretty much one of these that we can create ourselves. And since we have the Moon Pearl, might as well see the effects. Ha-ha! We've kept our form! We are now able to do things! Which pretty much means nothing, because we still can't get rid of those weird faces to get to those spikes, and even then, what do we do about that? The Great Fairy's here, but she just heals us, so... Ah, I have my human form! What are you going to say about it, buddy? Wow, your shape didn't change, you got the Moon Pearl, huh? I forgot his voice for a second there, that's why I had to cut. Whoa, hey, you haven't transformed, you don't know yet, are you? Oh, is that what they have to say? It's a bit disappointing. Well, we don't have to worry about any enemies or boulders hitting us in the Dark World, ironically enough, so, you know what, I'm just going to hop down here, go get ourselves the mirror, pop it off here, and there we are, Ah! Okay, didn't realise I was standing on the sign. If we use the magic mirror to go back to Hyrule, and we are technically within something, it would fail and spit us back in the Dark World, because we can't, well, merge into something that would effectively kill us. So yeah, we're pretty much on the road back to Kakariko. We could just, you know, save and quit and start the Sanctuary again, but we haven't actually been through this cave yet, so we might as well see what's going on in here. If we just dash along this side of the wall and then cancel before we go too far, there we are. We skip all the keys. We don't need to pick up the pots. We've got plenty of money as it is. And there we are. We are pretty much back to where we entered Death Mountain. Speaking of death, that was a bad idea. Yep. Certain trees, mostly the trees that are on their own, do spit out a lot of stuff. And on the same screen, you have apples and a tree filled with bees. I guess we hit a beehive. Maybe it's nothing, but this tree feels kind of strange as we cut it. Yeah, I know, you said that before. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing else that we gotta do, really. I mean, time is of the essence. Might as well just make a beeline to the true Master Sword, because, as we've already established, these are fakes! And then the Romulans would not join Starfleet in their quest to defeat the Dominion. Don't know why I took a Deep Space 9 there, but there we are. Let's just make our way even deeper in, since we haven't actually gone this far into the forest before. Ouch. Oh, well, fine then. You hit me, you flee. Fair enough. Don't need to bother with you then. Oh, you did come back! I don't remember that being a thing. Why do weird things happen when I play games on camera? Anyway, we're right on top of the Master Sword, it seems. Oh, if you get touched by him, you will spit out a bunch. Oh, that was a dead end. Oh, there we are. Now we just saw it in action. We drop rupees, we drop bombs, and we drop arrows. So he'll basically just take your stuff in order, because, you know, he's surviving and he probably hasn't got the memo like the other thieves, as well as probably his boss. Oh, this is magical. Hello there. This was the first game that introduced the Master Sword, by the way. In creation order. The hero's triumph on Cataclysm's eve wins 3 symbols of virtue. The Master Sword he retrieves, keeping the knight's line true. Now we have 3 symbols of virtue, the 3 pendants. Link was a knight. Well, the hero was a knight. We are a knight. I think we are worthy on collecting this. Aha! We're fully restored! Sahasrala's voice is echoing from the void. Scatlink, you have done well to obtain the evil banishing blade, the Master Sword. The power that shines in it is now yours to wield. With it, you should be able to thwart the magic of the evil wizard Agahnim. The destiny of this land is in your hands. Please, Scatlink. And we can shoot sword beams! When you're at maximum health, you shoot a spinning beam. Effectively a spin attack. But, even though our sword is technically a level 2, twice as strong as our previous sword, the sword beam is always the strength of a level 1 sword. But hey, if you've got the distance, you could just keep swinging your sword to wail on enemies, but only one beam can be on screen at a time. Scatlink, help! The soldiers are coming to the sanctuary! That's Zelda. Oh dear, we've got to get out of this forest quick. Back off, buddy. I have the sword of evil's bane. Tips 20%. Leave me be. Let's get out. We're just making a beeline straight down. Get out of here, you. There we are. What do you drop? More apples. I know one of these around here drops a full magic restore. Yeah, so now that we've actually taken a bit of damage, we're not able to shoot sword beams, so you have to be at full health in order to actually do so. But we haven't got time to worry about that right now. We need to get back to the sanctuary and find out what's going on. See ya, buddy. You know what? Have a bush. I'll take the money as well. I'll take my reward. Bash down the doors, storm right in, take out the wizard, oh dear. I was using the Pegasus shoes, I couldn't get here any quicker, I just picked up the sword. Scatlink, if only you had come sooner. A group of soldiers was here. Dude, I just picked up the blade. Seriously. This is just my luck. They took Princess Zelda. I fear they have taken her to the highest room in the tower. Tower of Hera? I was just there. They mean to sacrifice her. You must find her before the wizard works his magic. Please, Scatlink. You are our only hope. No. No. No! Okay! I was actually trying to do the grab, but I can't actually do the grab, charge, because I'm charging. But we're going to have to get there. There's no time to waste. We're going onwards, and get off me, dick. Being rather rude in my personal space. We haven't actually gone down this way yet, I don't think, so make a little cut through here. There's actually nothing going on this part of the field, so it's literally just a little cutway through in order to get back to Hyrule Castle, where we need to be. So let's dash around all the way through here. Since we had a short dungeon anyway, even though I had a little bit of trouble with the Moldorm at the top. Oh wow, I killed one with a sword and the sword beam went through. Don't normally have that kind of cleaving going on. But yes, we're back in Hyrule Castle. We need to find the tallest room. But we've already completed this entire thing. We had the map, so it must be hidden. But we didn't see any other direction to go to, except for one door that we couldn't access before. So if we make our way to that doorway, which, by the way, now that we're on the battlements, we can actually take care of these bomb-throwing soldiers. And despite being in red, well, it takes about 2 hits for us to kill them now, because we have a better sword. How do we get past you? Well, last time you electrocuted us, but with the Sword of Evil's Bane, blap! Let me in. This is the tower. And it's its own separate dungeon yet again, and yet it's the second tower already. Hey, this is the episode of the 2 towers. What are you going to do about it? Alright, so, with the power of the Master Sword, we can get shit done. And somehow you didn't hit me, and I killed you. We can just hit this guy with our sword beam if we want to, so we can just keep our distance and kill these guys without using any of our ammo, bombs. We could stun them with a boomerang, but what's the point? Yeah, come at me, fools. Habooshki! That was quick thinking. Key, bash down the door. Yep, even if you run into the door with a key, you still open the key, but you bash down the door. It's kind of funny. I like doing that sometimes. And right now, we need to be making haste, so it is perfectly fine. We've got eyeball keys. I think they have a different name. It will appear on screen, since I don't know all of the Dark World variants of enemies. But, you know, it's kind of funny that I don't know all the names of the enemies. But basically, they're the same as keys. They've just got a different design, so... And most of the Dark World enemy names are really odd, and yet just act the same. So it just seems a little bit weird to me that you just wouldn't, like, call it, like, an improved version. So, it's kind of dark in here. We're not exactly able to navigate really well. So, let's get out the lamp quick and light the way. I press start and select at the same time. That was a bit stupid of me. Yeah, they're literally just flying eyeballs. It was inside the brazier. I couldn't get him. Look at that. I've gone the wrong way, haven't I? Yeah, I've gone the wrong way. Hang on. I need to go back on myself. I need to go down here, because there's a chest over here that we were missing. And we needed it. It was a key. There's a block there. It's the only block that we've seen. Maybe we can push that. Should just keep the lamp on for the moment. I don't really need the boomerang. I just prefer to have the boomerang equipped. It's such a handy tool to have on hand whenever. Just to grab an item when you were walking away, so you can just grab it quickly and continue on your adventure. Or stun enemies when you're in a bit of a tight pickle. Because the lamp, well, unless I want to do that. Oh, nope, that didn't work. That.
Falcon!
Actually, this is working at... What? Okay, you get majorly rewarded for killing enemies with the lamp. 4 magic and 7 hearts, which is pretty much a full heal at this point. You just effectively gave me a blue potion game. Wow! Good things come to those who falcon punch their enemies to death. I mean, it pretty much is. I'm pretty much punching them with fire. So there we go. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. That was, I couldn't make any use of the fairy, but I didn't have a lot of magic used, except for, you know, doing those punches, but hey, can't complain about that amount of luck, can I? Kill you. Kill you. I'm literally killing the Hylian army, but they're not giving me much choice. That don't normally happen. Took me by surprise, you dick. Alright, come here, you. Gonna get Spartan, mate. Where have you gone? Oh, you went back to your position. Cheeky. Oh. Wait a minute. Ouch. Nope. Okay, we are gonna get the lamp back out. This is a bad room. There is actually 2 archers in the room. Oh, did I actually stun one? Oh, I did stun him. I stunned them both. Oh, that's helpful. One of them was holding a key. We needed that. Let's keep going. Oh, a telepathic tile. Why would Agahnim have that installed in here? Unless he uses it for a different purpose and so I can just use them. Got you. There we are. So let's go have a little read of that. Listen well, Scatlink. Even with the Master Sword, you cannot inflict physical harm on the wizard. Huh? But it's the Blade of Evil's Bane. How can it not hit... Why can it not Bane evil? The wizard's evil. If his magic is evil, I should be able to penetrate it with the sword, right? How does that make any sense? You must find a way to return his own evil magic power on him. Huh. So what you're saying is, despite having the Master Sword, which everyone was saying that I need to defeat the wizard, you're now telling me that it's not going to defeat the wizard, and his own magic will. But I just have to find some way on turning it back. Well, I guess if, you know, it's evil magic, I might be able to bounce it back, but if his own evil magic stops me from hurting him, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they didn't think that one through, did they? Send me on a goose chase to this sword. I could probably have done it without my own sword, but well, without the Master Sword, I could probably have done it with my own, but I guess we'll find it out. Also, I think I remember seeing a major difference only recently, because I've been watching Blue Hedger Man 17 play his A Link to the Past. I believe there was 2 red soldiers in this box, but in the GBA version there's only 1. I think. That's a bit odd. I hate these blue ones that just backhand stab their swords, because that's really bad. I know, I'm getting wrecked here. Take you out first, because I can actually block your shots. There we are. And then I can paralyze you, knock you away. There we are. I haven't actually got any health right now, so I can't use the beam, so I'll just shoot you a couple of times. There we go. Keep my distance. Plus, if I killed him with when he was stunned with the boomerang, he would only drop a single rupee, so... There we are. Come on out. And the funny thing is, in the last episode, we learnt that if we had the Master Sword on next to the Tower of Hera near that monument, we might be able to get the Magic of Aether, but we haven't had the chance to go grab that yet because Zelda got kidnapped pretty much immediately after we got the Master Sword in our possession. So we pretty much have to make haste. Knock everybody into the pit. It burns. Zelda! No! Wizard! Haha, Scatlink. I have been waiting for you. I thought I would make Zelda vanish before you. Behold, Princess Zelda's final breath. Come, Sume, Zada, Zing! Well, shit. You were waiting for me to pick up the Master Sword, weren't you? It's like you were daring me to use these Pegasus boots to the point of wearing them out. Oh, with this, the seal of the 7 sages is at last broken. It is now only a matter of time before evil power covers this land completely. After all, the legendary hero cannot defeat us, the tribe of evil, when we are armed with the power of gold. So you are the one who transformed the Sacred Realm into the Dark World. That's why I became a bunny rabbit. You did not need to know that. Now I must go. You cheeky bitch. Well, we've lost. Well, it's the Legend of Link now, I guess. A Link to the Past. Hang on a minute. Yes, we do not have a map, but it's clear where he's gone. Obviously, that's a bit of a design thing. But yeah, if you use the map, you can figure things out. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Come here, you! Hello! Oh, you seem to want to finish me. You seem to want me to finish you off, and allow me to make your wish come true. Okay. First of all, I'm a little bit low on health, so I'm going to pop a fairy immediately. Took a little bit more damage than I care to admit, but yes, we need to bounce his magic back to him with the Master Sword. The beam doesn't do any damage, the sword itself will just electrocute us. I'm guessing he's supercharged himself, so it just makes a visible barrier. However, because in future Zelda games like ones I've already covered on the channel before this game, yeah, you can use, well, we can't use bottles in this game to swing around, but we can use the bug catching net, because that's how we put things into the bottles. When he's in the top middle of the screen, you want to stand next to him. He'll do his lightning bolts, and that's the easiest way to dodge it. And also, when you use your sword, your shield's out of the way for a quicker mount, but when you do your spin attack, your shield isn't available either. When you use the bug catching net, your spin is a lot slower, and your shield, despite not being visible, is still active. So when he shoots the blues, as long as you're spinning with the bug catching net, you shouldn't get hit by it. Oh, stand next to him again. There we are. And funnily enough, even if I didn't, oh really? Oh, okay. Oh, I timed that wrong. He threw me off because he didn't even. Are you serious, mate? He threw me off twice because he didn't move 3 times in a row. I thought he was going to go for lightning. Alright, I'm just going to do that. There we are. For a second now, I was going to say I haven't actually taken enough damage to the point that I would have had to use the fairy, but yeah, I'm not going to use that anymore. I'm screwing up. Actually, no. I'll keep it equipped because if he does a blue attack, I'll be able to block him. But if he uses a normal energy ball, I can whack it back. There we are. That's what we need to do. That's the best way to do it. Yep, because as you see there, even though my shield wasn't visible, I still block it. I didn't time that well. I was hoping. I was expecting a blue. There we go. Oh, well met, hero. But I'm not ready to admit defeat yet. I will draw you into the Dark World.